Constantly coughing, sneezing, itchy eyes, runny nose, and of course the irritability and drowsiness that come with seasonal allergies can be incredibly frustrating if it's for yourself and incredibly heartbreaking if a family member is dealing with these things. Spring, summer, fall, unfortunately have become known as allergy season for a lot of families. Research shows that 1 in 5 children deal and suffer with seasonal allergies. However, if you start to look around, you probably wonder, is it even more than that? And the most disappointing thing is the quality of life that we see kids suffering with as a result. Missing out on sporting events, or wanting to go outside and play in the sandbox or on the park, or take a hike, or maybe just go to the neighbor's house who has a dog or a cat. And you want your kid to be able to experience these things. But if you see them wiped out afterwards, or you see just that congestion and that swelling and that redness and that itchiness and that suffering that comes with it, you start to wonder, which is better? So in this video, I want to dive in to what is commonly at the root of allergies that we help families with and that we see over and over again. Because unfortunately, allergies have become normalized in our society. They have started to become very common, and as a result, we just think, oh, maybe I have to deal with medications the rest of my life, or I've got to wake up in the morning and check the pollen count to see if I can go outside or not today. And that quality of life is tiresome. It's not what you want for your family. So you might be watching this because you have gone down the medication route. You've done nebulizers and steroids and maybe antibiotics because your kid has gotten sick a lot as well. We'll see a common pattern where kids deal with ear infections, maybe swollen tonsils, adenoids, they're always getting sick, they're always getting RSV or croup or respiratory illness, and as a result, they've had a lot of medications early on in life. This is actually one of the things studies show, that early exposure to antibiotics can shift and wipe out the immune system, also start to create a pro-inflammatory state that can cause allergies, asthma, eczema, even inflammatory bowel issues to be more likely later in life. Or maybe you're watching this and you've said, I've given up medication, I've been trying the natural or the holistic route, and you're doing some vitamins, some supplements, maybe you've done probiotics and detoxes, and you're eating healthy anti-inflammatory foods, but you find your family is still suffering. If that's the case, I welcome you, and what I want to share is how we look at things differently, as I said, to get more to the root of things. When we're helping families and people with allergies, take Julia for example. She came to see us years ago when she was actually 34 years old, and she had been on allergy meds every spring, every fall since she was a teenager. And I share her story because a lot of times families come to us and be like, oh, is it too late for my kid? Well, in Julia's case, she started getting adjusted in August, and she was going through that fall, and suddenly she's a couple months into fall, and she looks back and she says, oh, I haven't had to take my allergy meds this season. I'm going to show her scans here in a little bit to explain why that happened. But what we did is look at things differently than just treating a symptom from the outside, trying to suppress the symptom, but actually looked under the surface to see what was causing her body to malfunction in the first place. The most critical thing that we see causing dysfunction or malfunction in the body actually has to do with the nervous system. And this is by far the most overlooked piece when it comes to trying to solve allergies, because a lot of families have looked into gut health, looked into immune health, but they have not ever been told that it's actually the nervous system that lays the foundation for those. There's a term, it's called neurogastroimmunology. The nervous system controls the gastro, the GI, the digestive system, and the nervous system controls the immune system. We know that the majority of our immune system is in our gut. That's why we probably have been told about things like probiotics. However, if we come before that, the thing that controls both the GI tract, the gut, and the immune system actually is the nervous system. So I want to explain 3 keys then when it comes to actually starting to get to the root of your child's allergy issues. When allergies come at us, or allergens or things floating through the air, pollen, dust, dander, trees, flowers, all those things come at us, they first hit the surface. They hit our eyes, our nose, our throat, and our lungs. And what should happen is the mucous membranes in those areas, in a sense, they kind of grab onto them. They're moist and they're wet, and the allergen sticks to it. And what should happen then is the body should plumb and drain and get it moving. So maybe we swallow and get it into our gut. Maybe our lymph is able to pump and move things down through our neck to get into our veins and our vasculature to clear out the lymph system. Ultimately, what we see as step one for immune and allergy recovery is plumbing and draining. If this isn't happening, you might see your kid or yourself with puffy eyes, swollen sinus areas, red inflammation throughout their whole head and face. That is an indicator that things aren't draining from here. They're not plumbing out of here, they're getting stuck here. So now those allergens that should be moving through easily get stuck, and if they're sticking around and stuck, now the immune system just keeps attacking, and we start to get this inflammation, the itchy, the redness that comes with that. What should happen then, step two, is if we do swallow things, we get it into our gut, there's a lot of strength in our stomach acid to start to kill off those bugs. And we want to get it through our stomach, through our small intestine, our large intestine, where we know a lot of our immune system lies, and ultimately get it to the end and poop it up. So step two, gut motility is really important. If you've noticed your child has chronically been constipated or never seemed to be able to digest food very well, odds are now those things that are getting swallowed and should be moving through are actually getting stuck. If they're getting stuck, they're going to stick around and, again, create more of that inflammatory stress response in the body. Step three, then, is a balanced, specific part of your nervous system called the autonomic nervous system. What we see commonly is that people with chronic allergy issues get stuck in what's called sympathetic dominance. The sympathetic side of the autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic side is the same as the fight, flight, or the gas pedal mode. And it's normal and it's appropriate when your immune system first kicks in. It's appropriate when fight or flight happens because it says, hey, we're about to get chased by a tiger. We might get in a fight, we might get scratched. We need our immune system ready to go to be able to heal quickly from any scratches or cuts. However, if the nervous system gets stuck in that sympathetic dominance, now it becomes, in a sense, revved up. The foot's always on the gas pedal. And if that is happening, now the nervous system tells the immune system to be extra responsive, to be extra irritated when pollen is floating by, to say, I'm going to attack that instead of just let it be. So when the autonomic nervous system gets shifted, instead of being balanced, it gets shifted out of balance. This gas pedal is always on, and now the immune system becomes more reactive. And the other big piece with that is the gas pedal, sympathetic dominance, the fight-flight side also increases inflammation. Because a normal response is if we were to get injured, we need inflammation for healing. So the body says, hey, if I'm getting chased by a tiger, I'm going to get my inflammatory response going so I can heal as quick as possible. However, if it's chronically stuck on, guess what happens to inflammation in the body? It becomes always inflamed. And the more you look into different health things, the more you start to realize that chronic inflammation is the cause of a lot of health issues, not just immune challenges like allergies, but gut and deeper, longer standing things. So what we look for then in our office is, are these three things happening? If they're not, that's where we're going to start. So we're not going to worry about treating allergies. It's different than going to a doctor that says, give me your diagnosis, here's your treatment plan. We're actually taking a step back and looking at a functional approach. Is your body or your child's body able to work the way it's supposed to function the way it's supposed to let these three things happen? If your nervous system or your child's nervous system is stuck in what we call stress response, a state of subluxation, these things start to become off track. The most common area that we see is actually in the neck. And the most common reason for that, actually, if we go way back to the beginning, often comes from the birth process. Things like C-section, forceps, stuck shoulders, having to do epidurals or being induced and baby wasn't quite ready to come out, and now labor and delivery didn't go as smooth as mom wanted. If we go back to the beginning and we find something off there, that most commonly affects the neck. And from a plumbing and draining standpoint, all these tubes that should be draining things out of the neck to get it moving, those tubes, instead of being wide open, start to get crunched down. And that's where we see this swelling and this inflammation building in the head and face. Step 2 then, there is a key nerve that comes from the base of the neck that influences digestion, and it's called the vagus nerve. We talked about gas pedal, the sympathetic dominance. The vagus nerve actually activates the other side of things. It's the rest and digest side of the nervous system. So this vagus nerve activates good swallowing, good stomach acid, and then good gut motility to get the intestines moving things out. So if subluxation is affecting the vagus nerve, digestion stalls and it stagnates. Maybe constipation or something that is preventing things from clearing out, but they're just sitting there. The third component then that subluxation affects in the body is this imbalance in the nervous system. If gas pedal is stuck on, we need to activate the brake pedal to bring things out of sympathetic dominance. It's just like driving your car. If you see a stoplight, you want to be able to put your foot on your brake and have your car actually slow down. If you put your foot on your brake and the car keeps going, it means it's stuck in gas pedal mode. The brake pedal isn't working and things stay revved up. The engine stays revved up. Everything keeps attacking. This is what we see when the gas pedal's stuck on. So step 3 here is we need to be able to activate the vagus nerve. That comes from the upper neck. By activating the vagus nerve, we start to get the braking system back online. And what that does is now starts to drop inflammation, because gas pedal equals inflammation. Brake pedal actually shifts the body into healing mode and starts to allow that inflammation and inflammatory response to clear out. In Julia's case, as I mentioned earlier, the scans popping up here, you can see this big red bar at C3. That was one of the keys for her body to get out of stuck in stress mode and actually get into healing mode. She had actually also dealt with a lot of migraines and anxiety that she saw incredible improvement with when this area of her nervous system started to be able to heal and get back on track. By clearing that out, we allowed these 3 categories to take place effectively the way they're supposed to. And that's why she could go through multiple seasons that normally were allergy season for her without any medication, because her body was working the way it was supposed to. Her nervous system was able to heal, get back on track, and suddenly she could be out enjoying spring, summer, and fall and really being able to absorb it and live life the way she wanted. So if that resonates with you, if you're curious to see what your child's scans look like, to see if there is stress on their nervous system, if there is something holding them back from really fully healing, please reach out. Shoot us a message, give us a call. We're here for you.